Hey guys, Coldbrew here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video with the Sand Devils Dungeon, Sand Devils Necropolis. Today on the test server, we're able to test it out before the actual launch. And I've got some bad news and some even worse news about this dungeon, alright? This is a very, very difficult dungeon, okay? It's not at all compared to the other dungeons, the other four that we have. It is more comparable to the Iron Twins. Why am I saying this? The requirements to beat it, at least at stage 25, become higher and higher. And as you see, my clear times right here, 9 minutes, 3 minutes 26, these are like kind of fast, 5 minutes 51, and these are not even 100% teams that I was working with. Just to say, on stage 25, the minimum requirement to actually beat this boss or even attempt to beat it is at least 275 speed and then at least 600 accuracy if you want to land debuffs. And this is the Geomancer show once again. Unfortunately, the way that Plarium has went ahead and made this is that this boss hits so hard that you need to have some mitigation in there. You need to land debuffs. Poison debuffs don't do that much. There's already damage mitigation depending on the amount of debuffs that you need to place on the boss. So if you check on the guide here, it does say you need to apply debuffs in order to reduce this damage mitigation, which is even worse on stages 16 to 25. And there's also the sleep counter, okay? The sleep counter is what is so annoying. So let me just go into a fight in stage. Let's just go to an easy one just to see on how different it is, let's say on stage 9, comparing it to everywhere else. By the way, this is probably the strongest champion in the game for this one. Muckstalker right here is a 2-turn sleep debuff champion that is freely available to farm from the campaign. Just go to the stage where you get all the lizards and you get this guy too. This is totally worth it because he's one of the only champions in the game that does a sleep debuff for 2 turns, which becomes very crucial for this. But unfortunately, it doesn't work for 25 or any of the other force stages where you're going to have difficulties with the weak hit. If a weak hit lands, you're going to have a bad time, all right? That will be the worst stage for using that champion. But even so, let me just show you an example of this stage. Even on stage 9, this is a difficult dungeon. You see the amount of health the boss has there on the top and what happens, okay? So what is the boss going to do now? He's going to hit and basically kill the whole team with his Feasting Swarm skill. This will do a lot of damage on later stages and kill off all of your champions. That is why I have a stone skin set on my Duchess right here. But this one is so easy that he doesn't even actually manages to get through. But I'm just giving this as an example. And then you start, you have it on auto, and then you start applying all your debuffs. Hopefully, while the enemy is still asleep. This is very, very crucial. You want them to be asleep in order to apply the debuffs. If they're not, they will do this. And they wake up, then they cleanse, and then they start hitting with the A1. There's a lot of bugs on the test server right now, which made it very difficult for us to test this boss. And I hope they don't launch the boss the way it is right now. It is very, very buggy, okay? It doesn't always work as it should. Terminator reduction does affect the boss, but then it depletes your max HP to 0. And when that happens, the boss never does his A2 skill, unless you heal up a little bit of that max HP. But for Geomancer, because he totally depletes Terminator, this never happens and the boss just gets stuck on never doing the A2, which I guess is okay, but this is a bug that will be fixed, so you cannot depend on this strategy. And as you see, you basically need to apply and wait for the boss to keep on hitting you while you have the HP burn on and Geomancer doing it. For these lower stages, you can go with anything else. You can go with max HP nukers because the duration of the sleep is so much longer. What you need to avoid, though, is multi-hit champions and War Master Giant Slayer masteries. Unfortunately, we've mentioned this to the to Plarium already, is that War Master affects the sleep debuff durations right here on the top. That means that the boss will not ignore those, and those will actually reduce the sleep timer, and that will just cause you to have a bad time. The fact that it's only 5 counters on later stages makes this like an impossible dungeon, And what you get is, of course, the Ascension potions. Let me show you the Ascension potions and then my team that can actually clear 24 quite okay. And that is all because of Mux Stalker, right? And I'll show you all the sleep champions as well. But a good example of how bad this Ascension system will be is this gear right here. Look at this. This is a 4-star ascended item. I clicked on it once and boom, look at that. Defense was upgraded on these critical rate gloves, which are critical damage gloves with critical rate and the substat with speed. These are pretty solid gloves to use on any nuker where you need those stats. Critical damage gloves on Savage is just something amazing to have. But these, with this upgrade right there, basically destroyed the potential of this piece. We have this weapon right here where it managed to roll on attack, which is nice. That's what you need. And then if I show you an example here, the attack chest piece, I'll do just a single upgrade, which is what I would recommend to everybody. Start with a single upgrade to see what it rolls. And then you basically stop, because this one is accuracy. So it already messed up, let's say, my Trunda. Okay, so this, I wouldn't use it on Trunda anymore if I want to fully max it out. This is a perfect Savage piece, okay? The next best thing here instead of accuracy would have been speed for Trunda, but some champions need accuracy. So if I would use it on Soulless, or if I had Leorios, I could use this piece definitely, and this is amazing. But now with the accuracy roll there, which you cannot change, it kind of sucks. So then you move on to the next very good item you have. Let's say the attack percent boots Savage. Critical rate, critical damage. You ascend them once. And what does happen? I got attack percent. That is actually the best thing that you can get. All right. And if we go on top, there's different rolls that you can get, but these are more limited to HP, attack, and defense. So if I get attack here, I'm going to be very happy, especially for my attack nukers. For the HP nukers, this is also okay. So let me show you the different sleep champions that I went ahead and used. So one of them was Jermasa. I tried her out. Just look at the stats: 260 speed, 613 accuracy. I even had her at 300 speed with that amount of accuracy when I was trying things out. She's got a sleep on her A1, but this is not guaranteed. But what I wanted her was for her passive and also the revive potential. Other champions that you can think of using in terms of sleep debuff is, of course, Mux Stalker, which I've mentioned. There is also this champion, Crimson Slayer. She has a sleep chance at 50% with 3 hits. So each hit will have that chance, but if you landed on the first hit, then the other 2 hits reduce the boss's counter by 1. There's another champion right here, Hellhound, which I do not recommend going for because it's very hard to get 600 accuracy on a common champion, but he does have a guaranteed sleep when you do a crit. So there's that, okay, at least. And now for the showcase, where I think 24 will be where I'll be farming this, is I use Riho and Acrisia here. Acrisia because she is an enemy max health champion, so she does solid damage when Riho manages to land all her debuffs. We have a lot of damage mitigation removed from the boss, so that is why I want it. And I also have, of course, Godseeker there, which I think it's so good for this boss. And I kind of need it. I feel like you need it. I don't know. I don't use any turn meter reduction here. So I see the boss gets the turns. I've disabled the A3 on Acrisia here. And this should be like a much better run than all the others because of the consistency of sleep. That takes the cooldown back to 4. And it's a 2-turn duration sleep. So I have time to go in there with my hits. Maybe I could run 600 accuracy on Acrisia, but I think that would be a waste and very difficult to do with good damage also. So what I try to do is this team basically and be consistent with this. If Acrisia's defense stat was more, if I didn't need so much accuracy, then I could do something better, but I think this will be like a 4 or 5 minute run, which is not something that I want to farm overnight until this boss changes, which some of the changes they do need to implement, like the sleep counter needs to go a little bit higher. More sleep champions need to add it. If you're going to add this boss, you need more sleep champions. You can't have like a couple of them and expect wonders. It's fine, I guess, to use Mux Stalker all the way to 24. But again, the 4 stages are a nightmare. The 4 stages are a nightmare for sure. There's no question about it. And there's a lot of RNG involved with this, at least with how sleep works and the hits work. Also, you need to have sleep in order to land debuffs. If there were more debuffs that we could land without sleep being on, maybe we could do something more in terms of the damage potential. The decreased accuracy is also very bad because you need 600 accuracy. That makes it even worse. And yeah, this team should be better. It's already looking at 50%, so it's looking okay. It's looking like a solid team. I would say the MVP here is everybody. I can't really see a change here that I could do that would be the same. Maybe God Security you can remove. I don't think you can remove Muckstalker. There is Gaius. I think he does a 2-turn sleep on his A2, but that's a long cooldown. It's not consistent as just a hit. Here, I would ideally need to have more multi-hitters. That would be nice. You had multi-hitters here. And yeah, just need to land the sleeve enough for this swarm not to happen. But even if it does, hopefully God Security will be there to save the day on Duchess, and this will give me like a chance to not fail the run. All right, so I've disabled the A3 on Acrisia, which is a very good skill, but I've disabled it just because of what happens with max HP, and when that's 0, it messes up the cooldowns of the boss. It's not cool. And you know, hitting for 93k, you might think it's slow, but it's the fastest I've done this dungeon in because of everything that this boss has. Now we need to land the hits before the boss takes a turn. There it is, extra turn even with the relentless set. That's good. It means I don't need to change my my Acrisia. And like here, no control over that. I would need sleep to land that. Probably now the boss will do Feasting Swarm. I'm seeing it. This will happen right now. Are we gonna die? Okay, boom, revived on Duchess is what I wanted to see. Okay, we get a big heal there from Riho. Do some damage there with Acrisia. Strangle. He went in there with the A2. Now he'll have it on cooldown. So this is a headache. This boss is a headache. But Acrisia really proving her worth in terms of damage potential. And I don't think it would have worked the same with Geomancer, just because he also has that stupid turn meter reduction. If he didn't have it, it would have been a much better run, because I wouldn't need to depend on that for him to be reviving all the time or being protected by a Valkyrie. Such a headache. But a 5-minute run for what? To get Ascensions and then that being bad? I don't know. Guys. I don't know. What do you guys think of this dungeon so far? If you've seen other videos, I'm gonna be late in uploading this video because I was testing this for hours. Like, I didn't put good content out the last few days. I was up for Ronda's video that I posted. It's a mess. My days have been a mess since the test server was up, because I was trying to find easier teams for this to beat this. I was trying to find easier teams, but it's not easy. This boss is not easy, and it's bugged. It's the worst combination. If they chose a different debuff for you to always have on instead of sleep, it would have made things interesting. But we'll see. Christmas fusion, maybe like a sleep. Oh, we almost failed that there. By the way, look at that. We almost failed it at the final run. But yeah, what do you guys think? Riho doing 1.3 because of the H burn. Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.